Good Sunday afternoon to you all watching, and we're back in for the second day of FSL Vietnam qualifiers. Today we will be playing our lower brackets as well as the finals. So I think yesterday we saw Box Ladies find their way into the finals, confirming their position, which we'll probably see in the last best of 3 for today. But for now, guys, we will be looking at the first match in the lower bracket between Drama Queens as well as EVOS Valkyrie. Once again, we are your casters. I'm Hungry Cast, and alongside me is Gerard, the escape artist, Peters.
Yeah, that's right. And as we jump into Champion Select, we can already see the teams have made their 3 bans and has picked several champions as well. We see Syndra, Urgot, and Fiddlesticks being picked up. Looks like some comfort picks.
Yeah, but the Syndra is also, I think, a removal pick against Lihio. I saw her play that to great effect yesterday, so it's sort of like denying her comfort pick as well. The Lulu is no surprise. I've seen a lot of Enchantress supports in the past couple of FSLs, and this is no difference as well. In addition to being able to supplement the engaged potential right now of the Camille, you allow your team to play a bit more of a squishy AD carry when it comes to the draft.
Yeah, always helps out to have that Lulu protection. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see Nico being picked up. Do you think this is going to be an AP or on-hit Nico?
I think it's going to be an AP Nico in the mid lane because they already have the Fiddlestick, so it does seem to me like they want to play some sort of hard engaged composition. The interesting thing here is the Urgot, because Urgot hasn't seen a lot of play globally, but it's sort of a champion that Max is super comfortable with. We actually saw her play a ton of Urgot in the previous FSL Elite, so their roster for the most part has stayed the same. I think this is a composition that looks a bit more familiar to the EVOS Valkyrie ladies.
So really just going for the comfort over the meta. We move into the second ban phase. We see Leona being banned out, Zaya as well. So interesting though that they banned Leona. I mean,
it is the Nilly ban instead of the Leona because So it's a Nilly ban and Zaya ban. Zaya not surprising because they probably want to get something like a Jinx or a bit more of a hyper carry that can play a bit on the edge but requires a degree of safety. So both teams have sort of favored that Jinx in the past, but the Sejuani and Nilly ban here indicates to me at least that EVOS Valkyries want to pinch out the jungle pool for a little more and transition into something like a Jarvan or possibly even what did we see them play yesterday? I think it was a Jarvan that was very heavily on the books and an Evelyn as well.
Well, Jarvan's been banned out by EVOS, so we're going to see if they pick up that Evelyn or not in just a few seconds. Meanwhile, on the other side, they have eliminated 2 AD carries, Varus and Zaya.
Yeah.
So
if you are EVOS here, you do go for the AD carry pool, so I think you have to take something that's a bit self-sustaining in terms of safety and can be, there you go, yeah, like a Tristana, right? Something that's self-sustaining in terms of safety that can do damage from the backlines while her support is jumping in, because this Fiddlesticks is most likely going to be in a support position.
Unless you could see an off-mana Fiddlesticks jungle.
Ooh, yeah, that might be interesting, but I highly doubt it.
Alright, on the other side, it looks like they're going to hover the Caitlyn pick. So Caitlyn Lulu, quite a strong poke lane as well.
Yeah, it is quite effective, and I've been talking to some of the pro players and the coaches from other regions, and they say that Caitlyn is a champion that requires a lot of conditions to succeed. One of them being a very dominant lane. You have to come out of lane a hit. Otherwise, you hit that mid game in a very heavy power trough. You can't really do anything, much less impact the map. So Caitlyn Lulu, like you mentioned, is a good poke lane. They will be able to succeed early on. Whether they can convert that into lead itself and snowball is a whole other question.
That's right, and they pick up the Lee Sin as their last jungler. EVOS, you mentioned earlier, the Evelyn. Do they have any other replies for this?
I think if your opponent goes for Lee Sin here, you just take the Jarvan and you go for a composition. Yeah, you might just have to go for... Oh, it is banned.
Yeah, it's banned.
But you might have to go for something that can counter the sort of level of aggression. So Elise might work as well. Kha'Zix, yeah, also fits the bill. We want someone that can go toe-to-toe with the Lee Sin when it comes to matching ganks and just looking for each other in the jungle.
That's right, and as we see in the final team compositions here, what are their win conditions? What are each team looking to do?
So you can see very clearly on the side of EVOS Valkyries, on the red side at least, it's very heavily based on engaging into the front line. So they more or less want to play this Nico Fiddlesticks wombo combo and isolate the target, have the Urgot get the reset, the Fear Beyond Death, right? Then when you proc that, it's very simple for the Kha'Zix and Tristan to clean up, because both those heavy reset focused style champions just need to find a single target to remove first. On the opposite side, the Camille Lee Sin will be playing towards top side more. This is a composition can actually dive the Urgot very early on if you get the proper wave down. Syndra against Nico, though, is kind of interesting because we saw Herone play Syndra a little bit, but she's not as proficient on the champion as I would like it to be. So you might want to send your Lee Sin top mid and play a bit more focused to that.
Alright, and for the Caitlyn and Lulu, just gonna be looking to win. Last second switch there for Caitlyn over to Cleanse to get rid of the Fiddlestick Sphere.
Not just that, but you can cleanse away the Ignite, I believe. So that actually focuses their bot lane into... It lowers the risk of the bot lane, but it also allows them to play more aggressively when it comes to taking 2v2 trades. Because the moment you cleanse the Fear and the Ignite, you automatically win the trade, right? You can even opt to all-in on top of that. So Caitlyn and Lulu is going to be more focused on harassing, trying to find that all-in if they can. But at the same time, it reduces a lot of the immediate risk when Kha'Zix looks to come down to the bot lane.
That's right. I mean, you can even help out in the late game, especially if Fiddlesticks tries to flash Fear onto Caitlyn in that crucial last team fight.
You can't forget that the EVOS Valkyrie composition is severely lacking in CC. The only immediate CC that they have is going to be the Fear from the Fiddlesticks, and that is sort of predictable because he has to kind of walk up to you, right? Apart from the Crow Storm. On the opposite side, there is a heavy amount of reliable crowd control coming in for Drama Queens. You can see Camille Hextech automated hook shot. For Syndra, it's going to be Scatter the Weak. For Lulu, it's a polymorph, right?
That's right.
Anything that you want as a Lee Sin, you can get in terms of facilitating your ganks.
That's right. Going to be really easy. So EVOS Valkyrie is just going to have to play pretty safe in their lanes, especially, I mean, Urgot in the top lane, just have one Camille and Lee Sin flying in. It's not going to be very pretty.
The matchups themselves are a bit tricky as well because, like I said, bot lane Caitlyn Lulu is going to be advantageous. They can have the range advantage and the AA advantage, so all you have to do is trade autos and you probably come out hit. Urgot Camille is kind of tricky because we haven't seen a lot of Urgot recently.
Yeah, that's right.
But Camille has been favoured a lot in the current 9.14 patch, and there are multiple ways you can build her. I would venture to say that this is a skill matchup as long as Camille doesn't get tossed back into Urgot and she's the one that's finding the initial engage. She should be coming out a hit, actually.
So you mentioned a couple of different builds. What build do you think she should go for?
Against the Urgot, I think you want to go for the Conqueror to at least try and trade it out in the side lanes later on if you need to. And the early game Conqueror does give you a bonus adaptive damage. So it allows you to trade pretty aggressively early on. The greedy build that I've been seeing some people do in topside is taking Kleptomancy against melee matchup. So if you're Camille into a melee matchup, you can take Kleptomancy. But instead of trading for all-ins, you rely on proccing your Klepto stacks to expedite your goal lead. It comes to that point in the mid-game where, suddenly you're like 600 gold ahead just because you have a lot of Klepto stacks.
Yeah, just getting those stacks of gold.
Slice stacks of gold.
Getting those sweet 100 gold. By just proccing like Kleptomancy over and over again. But since he's going up against Urgot, I mean, as you mentioned, Conqueror would probably be the pick.
I feel like Conqueror is the definitive, safer option. Just because of how Klepto can be abused in the 2v2 as well. So you're looking at the matchup Camille Lee Sin versus Kha'Zix Urgot, right? If you go for Klepto, you're actually severely lacking damage in that 2v2 because Kha'Zix Urgot are going to be able to burst a single target down very quickly. Urgot being a bruiser and Kha'Zix being an assassin, if you get isolated or in a 2v2, you just have to back off instantly. You can't take that trade, right? So with Conqueror, it actually allows you to play a bit more aggressively in these trades. And nowadays, Lee Sin players also take Conqueror.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
These extended trades actually favor people with Conqueror.
So in 2v2s, your bet is on Camilla and Lee Sin
if they have Conqueror.
They have Conqueror, yeah.
I think anyone with Conqueror in like extended trades are just strong now. I was reading this, I don't know, was it a Reddit post or like a discussion or like a VOD or something where people are reviewing why currently Lee Sin players take Conqueror over Electrocute. Yeah. And actually the logic was pretty sound. It said something along the lines of, well, Conqueror gives you bonus stats on each proc, and because it sort of ties in just nicely when you want to use your Q1, Q2 or your Dragon's Rage, right? You normally time it such that Conqueror is up and then you use those two skills to get the maximum impact on the execute damage coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of Lee Sins who just auto-attack the people, and I'm just like having seen like this is just the Electrocute. When they started taking Conqueror, I was like, oh, this can't hurt that much. And I just realized, started slapping everybody. And
it's actually pretty strong. And like if you go Conqueror Lee Sin against something like Jarvan, you actually come out ahead. Electrocute Lee Sin is just like you trade a bit and then you back off.
It looks like we have jumped into Summoner's Rift. Both teams taking rather defensive stances. But yeah, it looks pretty traditional. I got just taking a bit of control over the pixel brush. Just gonna walk around.
Oh, going for Grasp on the Undying on the top side is also a good option, but what that signals to me is that they're not going to be playing top side all too much, because for some weird reason, Lee Sin went for Dark Harvest.
Yep, Dark Harvest over that Conqueror that we've been spending the last few minutes talking about.
I feel like right now you just auto lose the 2v2. The moment Kha'Zix walks to the top side and Lee Sin matches that, you can't fight. You just can't take the battle. And anything in the jungle as well, you just can't fight, because Dark Harvest is such a conditional keystone. They have to be low health for you to even proc it, right?
Yeah.
Kha'Zix doesn't mind taking low health fights. Like, he would go all in on you if you're low health.
That's true, and also Syndra took Electrocute. I mean, that's not really something you see. We see Comet more nowadays, right?
Both are okay. It's a 50-50 sort of thing, but you go for Electrocute if you want to go for all-ins. You go for Comet if you want to go for Poke. The reason for that is such that... the reason for that is because your ultimate Unleash power counts as multiple procs. So the moment you press R, right, you're guaranteed to get Electrocute down.
I see. I mean, on the other side also, something else that looks interesting to me is the Fiddlesticks taking Comet instead of the usual Aftershock that we see.
Yeah.
Gives some tankiness.
This is, I think, meant to sort of poke out the opponent. So yeah, there you go. It's to counter the Caitlyn Lulu push and range advantage coming in. So what you do is you kind of use the crows to harass them out and get the wave pushing in opposite favor as well.
Level 2, just missing out on the stun there from Nico. It's going to go back to normal. Syndra getting pushed out a little bit, and the Crow once again coming out. Good shield by Lulu to save some of their damage.
Yeah, normally in this lane it's the Caitlyn that always has the push advantage, but you can see the wave leaning across, and that's because of the Crows coming in, Dark Wind from the Fiddlesticks and the Comet harassing them out, making it a very tricky lane for this Caitlyn Lulu.
That's right, they're going to have to play it pretty well, time those shields pretty well to save themselves. In the top side, some Grasping and Dying trades coming out from the Camille. Looks to be winning out on the Urgot for a while.
I should touch on the jungling routes coming in for both sides. They started bot half moving to the top side, and they're gonna arrive at the top lane around the same timing. Considering that the wave is frozen in the river, it's very tasty for both junglers to just try and attempt the top side gank, and it's gonna be the Kha'Zix that gets there first.
Yeah, and walks into the lane. Gonna hide in that lane brush probably. Camille actually using the hookshot to engage onto Urgot. He's taking quite a lot of damage. Kha'Zix is gonna jump in, try to do as much damage as possible. Lee Sin flying in as well, but now Kha'Zix is in a bit of a spot. Gets auto attacked. Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike follows, but no kills to be found. A little bit of poke coming back out, but Camille winning that trade overall.
Yeah, I could see that even though the engage was on the side of DQS, they still couldn't take the fight because there was not enough damage on their end to try and force the kill on that fight. And this is the problem, right? You don't have sufficient damage because you took Dark Harvest on Lee Sin, because you took Grasp of the Undying. You kind of have to match the ganks and hope that you don't lose anything.
That's right, but the teleport was forced out from the Urgot, so technically a summon spell win for the side of DQ regardless.
Now overall, it's up to the Kha'Zix now to make this regank happen in the top side, or at least secure the Urgot a bit more, because the focus is definitely going to be towards this top side, I feel. Right now the Camille has garnered quite a big CS lead, and a big wave is pushing it as well, so we have to see how this one plays out.
That's right. Camille might use the teleport to get back as well, mirrors the Urgot's movement. If not, she's going to walk back, maybe lose a few minions. Looks like Camille's choosing to walk back to the lane. Lee Sin going to take away a little bit of the jungle of the Kha'Zix as well. He is level 4 now, and Kha'Zix still on that 3.
It should be noted that this Lee Sin is going to fall off really hard, so the onus is on him as well to try and make something happen in the mid and top side of the map, which is why I think Kha'Zix should mirror that. If I was the Kha'Zix player, I think, well, Lee Sin has to strike early to get the snowball running, otherwise he falls off because he doesn't have a scaling sort of style of Conqueror in the late game.
And looks like he might just be making a little bit of things happen in the mid lane. Just flies in for a little bit of, to say hello to Nico, I guess. Then flies out. Snare does land, but not enough follow-up from the Nico. Just back and forth trades overall. CS lead is to the Nico by about 5 or 6 from the Syndra.
Meanwhile, top side, the trades coming in. The Urgot is actually getting the better of this one. You can see, forcing the hookshot away. And this is what we expected in these small instances. Conqueror versus Grasp.
Syndra getting caught out a bit by the Glacial Augment. Just gonna auto attack to slow down. Scan of the Weak does not stun. Lee Sin's Sonic Wave does not land either. And Nico can just walk away.
Good gank attempt by Lee Sin, forcing it once more, using the safeguard forward as well to try and close the distance, but no joy found there as he tried to make the gank happen. But like I was saying before they broke up, in this top side, the Urgot is always going to have the advantage in these extended trades because Conqueror always beats Grasp of the Undying. That is a pretty much a given lane despite all the early action that happened earlier.
And in the bot side, an Ignite being used on Caitlyn. Whoa, Tristan just jumping straight in. Caitlyn dropping lower and lower for Flash. One more. First Blood. Kha'Zix jumps in. Does a bit of damage to Lulu, but First Blood for EVOS Valkyrie.
Yeah, not expecting the damage from the bombs coming in from Tristana. Maybe just overestimating the capabilities of her own health bar. Interesting that even though she did have the cleanse, she opted not to use it to remove any sort of debuff in.
Ooh, in the top side, Urgot has hit 6. Camille does not have that. Fear Beyond Death being used. Is Camille gonna be able to win this? Actually wins it out. Flashes away for safety. But a solo kill, level 5 to level 6, that should not be happening.
Massive misplay coming in from the Urgot. Normally when you play this matchup, you want to keep your range distance so that Camille can't auto-attack you while your perch is going down. In that case, he walked up a bit too close, got caught by the hook shot, and she did not have the proper spacing to kite away from that fight.
And that pays for that with her life. Walking back to lane 0, 1 and 0. Camille picking up that kill without even needing to use the ultimate. That's pretty critical, you know. I mean, Fear Beyond Death is just such a strong 1v1 when you can just drop somebody low and kill them.
Yeah, unfortunate there that this top lane now is going to start snowballing for DQ, but the bot lane is already in favor of EVOS Valkyrie, so the map is sort of split and asymmetrical in power. Bot lane is going to be shoving up aggressively for EVOS, whereas top side you kind of have to deal with the super powered Camille.
That's right, and now Camille's already getting a CS lead, 50 to 42. It's gonna drop a little bit. Just gonna take some trades here. Nico missing out on the snare once again, but still dropping Lulu to half health. Jungler's taking their second buffs really soon. Lee Sin's gotten his level 6, and that's Dragon's Rage. Gonna be looking to use that soon. Phil 6 roams up to mid as well. No Crow Storm on him yet. Snare does not land, but doesn't even matter. Just pop Blossoms, but gets pushed away instantly. And now here comes Lee Sin, flies straight in, forcing the flash out of the Phil Sticks. No Scare of the Week onto the Nico. So it looks like just a flash from Phil Sticks.
Yeah, the Scare of the Week was used to disengage from the Pop Blossom, so overall DQ's mid laner Herony has been doing a decent job in countering the aggression coming in.
Ooh, Scare of the Week landing. The ultimate, the unleashed power, and a solo kill from Herony.
Yeah, no respect whatsoever coming in from the hill right in the mid lane. I think the moment you try you all in and you miss your ultimate, you should start playing a bit more defensively and right there overstepping her boundaries and getting solo kill.
Yeah, a lot of these misplays from the side of EVOS Valkyrie, giving up solo kills in the top side and the mid side. They gotta buck out, even though they're gonna be losing out a lot. Lee Sin's gonna be able to take away the blue buff from Kha'Zix. Needs to possibly do the same on their side.
So this is going to transition into a bot side control as well for Drama Queens because mid and top are winning. And now you kind of have to respect the fact that Syndra has full lane priority in the mid lane.
Oh my goodness. Dragon's Rage onto the Nico once again. This camouflage doesn't matter because Lee Sin spots him out. Scare the Week will land as well. Another auto attack, but no unleashed power means that Nico's gonna walk away alive.
Yeah, a lot of action right now. We're in 9 minutes in. The goal lead is still more or less even despite all the kills back and forth. But like I said, bot lane has to be a bit more careful for EVOS Valkyrie because mid lane has full prio. The Syndra getting a solo kill means that she can consistently push the wave up and just walk down.
That's right. He's completed the Lost Chapter and the Blasting One as well. The whole Blasting One ahead of Nico, in fact, who's opted to go for a non-magic mantle. Just shows how much respect the Nico has now for Syndra.
You can see the spacing coming in from Syndra. She kind of is respecting the lane, but she knows that at any point if she wants to push up, she can sort of match the wave clear from the Nico. Items coming in for both bot laners. It looks to be BF Sword, Pickaxe, and the Cloak of Agility. So Infady Edge is the definitive first item for the AD carry here.
That's right. Caitlyn picking it up as well. Goal leads about 500 to Tristana thanks to the first blood, but CS looks fairly even across the board.
Good news is that EVOS Valkyrie's composition still functions when they're not exactly definitively a hit because they are a team fight and wombo combo composition. So all they need to do is just make sure they isolate the vision and fight chokes. As long as they are not too far behind, they don't have to be a hit, they just don't have to be too far behind.
We see them walking back into lane. trading out mid laners, both dropping pretty low. In fact, Lee Sin and Kha'Zix both moving up towards that mid lane, both possibly gonna look for that crucial gank, but they're just gonna split off instead. Kha'Zix possibly starting out on the dragon, gonna try to sneak that ocean dragon away. You see the bot lane moving up as well, but meanwhile, trading in the top lane of the Urgot just has that level 9, so the cooldowns, but here comes Lee Sin, flashes in, kicks him straight to the Hextech Ultimatum. Looks like Urgot is going to be going down. Lee Sin picking up 1 kill in exchange for an Ocean Dragon.
And once again, you see the misplay coming in. At the start, it was really good. A lot of free damage because of the range spacing coming in. The Purge was dealing maximum damage, while the Camille couldn't get in range to auto attack. Then she made a misplay of moving forward with the E, and then, you know, that's your only escape. If you use that, Lee Sin's definitely going to come in, and regardless, Camille would have found a solo kill anyway.
On the bot side, Kha'Zix possibly looking for a dive. Crowstorm is available. He's just gonna try to sneak away the Crux. Doesn't actually get them. It's forced to walk away. Urgot teleports back, but Lee Sin is still hanging around. They might try to find another kill on him.
You have to respect the fact that you don't have flash anymore, so right now you just kind of have to clear the wave up and hope that they don't tower dive you. The good news is Hextech Ultimatum isn't up, so the ability to tower dive regardless isn't there. Normally how you want to play this one out is that the Camille goes in with the initial aggression, resets the aggro with the Hextech Ultimatum, and the dive is complete. Right now though, Lee Sin still sitting on the top side. Looks like he might want to gesture over to the top Scuttle Crab and possibly secure the Rift Herald after. This is always a good feeling when you're the jungler because your laners are mostly ahead or even and you can play more aggressively.
It's right about 900 gold lead on the side of DQ. As they continue trading across, CS still looks to be fairly even. However, gold has started to increase on the side of Camille more than Urgot. So little leads from these kills might transition to something big later.
This mid-top synergy between DQ is actually super crucial. Oh, hold on here, going in
Hold
for
that
Pop
thought because
Blossom.
Pop Blossom just flashing straight on. Barrier used to block the damage. A lot of trading back and forth, but here comes Kha'Zix as well. Misses out on the slow, forcing a flash, however, from Syndra. That's a critical summoner spell.
Yeah, although in the grand scheme of things, it was 2-for-1 traded for summoner spells, EVOS Valkyrie will miss out on a huge opportunity to force the gank right there, but they will regain some semblance of tempo on the top side.
That's right. In the mid lane, things are pretty explosive. Barrier being used as well means that Syndra has less defensive options if Kha'Zix wants to make a return to the mid lane.
They're still looking for turret plates on the bottom half. There's not much left in the space of time that they can take, but they could be looking for one more. Another 30 seconds and yep, the turret plates will be falling right here. Transitioning to the mid game is a bit trickier for DQ if they don't get enough gold on the Caitlyn. Traditionally, you want to exit the lane with at least one core item before you start to, you know, sit in the mid lane and put the push down. Alternatively, they can swap it out, but I don't fancy Caitlyn heading topside, especially when she can be matched pretty easily by the Tristana.
We saw the gold leads just now. Tristana had about 1,000 over the Caitlyn. Tristana picking up the IE and the Berserker Greaves as well. Caitlyn recalls and grabs her own IE. It doesn't complete the Berserkers, however.
Having IE is good enough. It allows her to sort of contribute in this post-turret situation. That being said, it seems like both teams are still content with just farming the waves out and not pushing aggressively for the lane.
Ooh, who's gonna get the control ward? Is it both of them? Ooh, Harane. It's gonna find that last hit.
Yeah, she finally does get it though. So she's not afraid. There's like a Lee Sin behind her. She's okay with that.
Yep. Kha'Zix level 8, Lee Sin level 9. Lee Sin's slightly ahead of the Kha'Zix. I mean, he managed to find a successful gank on the top side, I believe, just now.
I have to say though, in FSL Vietnam, today's games, at least for the first game that we're watching, is a lot more tempered and measured compared to the matches yesterday. For the vast majority of games yesterday, it seemed particularly one-sided and very snowbally, but in this case, 15 minutes in, the goal gap is not even approaching 2k, it's only like 1.1, 1.2, and it's fairly reasonable when you talk about how both teams want to scale into the mid-game.
We're maybe looking at a pretty long game here. 3-1 is his current scoreline. Next objective coming up would be Dragon in about less than a minute. It looks like there might be a 3 or 4 man push down at the bot lane against the Killian and Lulu.
Top side is going to drop again. The Urgot not respecting the Lee Sin once more. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And right there, just getting outplayed with the Hextech Automatum as well as the Dragon's Rage. So this is top tier 1.
Yep.
Gonna fall for sure in favor of DQ.
It's Ren, bot side, Kha'Zix hanging around. A jump in from the Tristana, flash being forced. I'm not really sure what's going on. Crow Storm straight in for the stopwatch. Kha'Zix looks like he'll be able to pick up the kill onto Lulu. Will Fiddlesticks fall in reply? Killian flashes in to get the kill, but Tristana will be able to pick up one more.
Yeah, it was a bit greedy there by the Fiddlesticks to go in, but it was necessary in order for them to secure the 2 kills on the bot laners, and right now they should be able to claim the turret as well. So this is a good response, right? You force that fight. You say, okay, we'll sacrifice the Fiddlesticks, it's fine, but we still manage to trade turret for turret and we come up on top in terms of kills.
Given to get Ocean Dragon as well on that for free.
Right now the game is gonna reach a lull state or sort of like a stagnation point after this dragon, because the only big objective left is mid tier 1. You can see they traded dragon for herald, turret for turret, kills for kills. So the map is almost mirrored in a sense. It's split between the top and the bottom half, and the power levels are sort of shifting for both teams.
That's right. People are completing their first 4 items. You see the Hextech GLP completed on Nico as well, and the Luden's Echo on Syndra. So people are generally farming up just fine. Syndra gonna do a fair amount of damage with this guy of the week. Secures the Rift Herald out.
I want you to pay attention to the ultimates coming in, because normally when you set up Rift Herald in the mid lane, there's this sort of space where your opponents know, oh, Rift Herald has been dropped in the mid lane, we can start to set up a defense. With the Fiddlesticks on their side, their defense becomes that much easier. So where the Rift Herald is dropped and how long it takes to get to its first charge is super important here.
Camille picked up the Rift Herald, I believe. So walking over to the top side means that they might just use it to attempt to take down top tier 2 instead with the split push.
If they drop the Rift Herald topside, it'll be super greedy. It's more or less saying, well, I expect to be able to get at least 1 charge off before you guys destroy it, and that advocates her playing super far forward, super offensively, and super aggressively.
Yeah, we just pulled 2 people over. Tristana gonna walk in. So they decide not to go in for the Camille. Just gonna push this lane out.
4 members move to the top
yeah,
side. They could actually
main.
dive her pretty feasibly with the Fiddlesticks ultimate being available already.
Yep, Syndra's gonna respond as well, but is that gonna be in time? Pop Blossom dodged away from, but just so much damage coming up from the auto attacks of the Tristana means that Camille will fall with no response. Oh, there is a response, forget what I'm saying. In the bot side, Lee Sin takes out the Urgot. And once again, mirroring each other on the map, exchanging the top for bot side. Ooh! Might actually get the kill and does get the kill. Syndra flashing in.
Oh, man.
Whoa! Unleash power, double kill. Now 2 more members. Is Syndra gonna be able to find any more? Forcing another flash with Kha'Zix. What is going on here? The dive is not working out.
Yeah, with that dive though, they stayed and overgreeded. You could see the Fiddlesticks reaching for it a bit too much, getting caught by this guy of the weekend. Herone realized that, hey, everyone has expended their ultimate to try and dive the Camille. This is a point where we can just go in, turn the game around, and then claim some stuff in the bottom side for ourselves as well. I'm extremely surprised that she's playing to this level, because yesterday it seemed almost slightly sloppy, but today she's popping off real well.
Yeah, and because of that, EVOS doesn't even get the top outer turret, and 2 turrets for DQ thanks to the Rift Herald, which will get 1 more charge up, I believe. Yep, there we go, onto the turret. Huge value from that.
Normally the Rift Herald doesn't get the ability to charge twice that deep into the map, because there's always someone rotating over to clean it out. But because DQ won a massive fight on the top side, tempo swung back heavily in favor of them, and they can just full rotate down to the bottom side with the teleport up. Right now though, the next objective is going to be mid tier 1. They have a heavy power spike and they can look to take this fight.
What's going on here? It's not even a fight, it's just a pick onto Fiddlesticks, who's in the middle of the enemy territory. EVOS starting to make a lot of mistakes. Fiddlesticks especially 0-3 and 4. Pop Blossom being forced out as well. Whoa, look at that. Camille just diving in so deep. Lee Sin following in as well. Scattering does not land. Kha'Zix still forced to run away, but the Fear Beyond Death lands. A grind, a shutdown from the Urgot onto the Lee Sin. DQ's forced to walk away from this one.
Yeah, overreaching, they thought there was a free meal behind that turret, but there's enough reinforcements coming in from EVOS Valkyrie to take that fight. Without any offense, I want to say that EVOS Valkyrie is starting to tilt a little. You can see the choices that they're making and the decisions that they are deciding upon as a team. It's kind of off, you know. They're not really making these cohesive calls when it approaches the mid game. Like the Fiddlesticks getting caught out was a question mark. The Pop Blossom being used was a question mark as well.
Yeah, a lot of question marks outside of EVOS Valkyrie, but they still are definitely in this game. I mean, Tristana 2-1 and 2, looking to complete their second item really soon, can still definitely carry this game.
She's in a position where with 2 items she actually does more than Caitlyn, and 3 items she still does more than Caitlyn, because like I mentioned in the pregame, I mentioned this in the game as well, Caitlyn is super conditional. She has to come out in her lane ahead to even be a threat, and at this point the Tristana is actually capable of outputting more damage in these fights.
That's right. Completing the second rapid fire cannon, being ahead of that Caitlyn by both CS and gold in general, but standing around and possibly being caught out by Lee Sin. Rocket jump, interesting kick there from the Lee Sin, just I guess to put down damage. I'm not exactly sure what that was for.
This forces the Tristana, exactly like you said, to back off and recall and heal up. So there's no one in position to defend because Nico was seen in the top side clearing the wave out. So all inning on the Tristana was actually a profitable move there because they managed to force her away and they get mid tier 1.
Now Dragons coming up really soon. DQ position themselves around that. Teleport is available for Nico in the top lane. And DQ have already started it. It is a fire and an infernal dragon, and they will clear that one up without any resistance.
Now it should be noted that DQ are in no position, or have at no point in time positioned themselves to get jumped on by the Fiddlesticks. You can see every time they try to make a play, it's with full information of either where the Fiddlesticks is or a numbers advantage. So credit to them for not playing too proudly and, you know, ignoring the Fiddlesticks threat.
A bit of a bush camp possibly from the side of EVOS, trying to find one pick in return, but no one steps up into this 4-man stack. We're just gonna recall.
Oh, this is a desperation move. They completely ignore the mid-tier wave, the mid-tier 2 wave, and just sit in the brush hoping to find a pick.
That's right, they're not going to find it. So they're forced to recall Syndra, level 14, 4-0 now. It's definitely going to be a very scary threat, especially against the Tristana. We saw just now flashing in with the Unleashed power, doing so much damage.
Now, as long as Drama Queens play to this style, they respect the Fiddlesticks' threat, they find the picks first before sieging, I think they should be able to close this game out. But if any point they split up, if they don't respect the Fiddlesticks' threat, if they overstay and try to siege against what is recommended, there's every opportunity for EVOS Valkyrie to actually turn the fight against them, because they have so much all-in with Crowstorm and Pop Blossom, as well as the reset potential, like I said earlier, that it's going to be very simple for the Tristana to take these fights if DQ oversteps.
That's right, so it's down to DQ to play it carefully and just secure this win. EVOS Valkyrie pushing up the mid lane once again. They're just going to hang around, and we do have a pause.
Yeah.
So I guess while this pause is going on, we can just take stock of what's going on. I mean, the goal leads are exposed. You can see that generally DQ has goal lead, except for the Tristana, who has about 600 over Caitlyn.
Overall though, the gold is kind of where you want it to be if you're a DQ, because you want the Syndra to be able to create picks, and having her ahead is, you know, magnificent for that. Camille being ahead means that she can match the Urgot on the side waves, and it's always going to draw pressure from an additional member from EVOS to sort of deal with that. In a 1v1 situation, she always wins. In a 1v2, it becomes a bit more tricky, right? So at least the gold is sort of set on the proper people.
Yep, and we're back in game.
The thing about the current situation now is that DQ only has lose conditions. We always talk about this, right? When the team is far enough ahead, what are the lose conditions? And like I mentioned, the lose conditions is playing a bit too aggressively and not respecting your opponents, overstaying and oversieging.
And speaking of aggressive, we see this and flying and doing half of Nico's health in damage with just a Sonic Wave Resonating Strike and an auto attack. So looking really scary, 3-1 with the Dark Harvest. You haven't really seen too much action from the Kazakhs.
Has been a bit of a low impact Kazakhs right now, only level 12, and went for the Missile and Claw Evolve, which isn't really the most favorite option in this kind of composition. I would have preferred to see the Wings and Missile.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're not going to see resets for both of them. No bugs and Tristana jumping around, and a bug has to jump out of this one.
The additional range also on the jump
Yeah,
was,
right.
I think, more important than anything, because now their engage range is so limited. I don't think that Kazakhs will be able to get into the backline to follow up with the Fiddlesticks because of this. Might just be a dire mistake coming in.
Speaking of dire mistakes, Fiddlesticks might just get caught off this one. Scattering does not land. Nico doing a bunch of damage to Lulu, quite a lot, dropping her to half health, using the Hextech GLP as well. Both teams trying to get vision
Look
control.
at what they were doing earlier. The reason they were contesting over that brush is because Fiddlesticks wants to be in that corner
That's right.
to pop the Crow Storm in the mid lane anytime that DQ overstays. So that sort of area of the map is super crucial to DQ if they want to start sieging up.
And DQ clearly knows that with Syndra and Lulu walking into ward. Camille pushing up on the bot side. Teleports are up for everybody, I believe. So when there's a fight over Baron, everyone can just join the party really easily.
Like you said, Baron has spawned and it is 25 minutes in. There's not enough damage on DQ's side to confirm that they get the Baron. They're going to have to sort of rotate the damage around and sort of tank it up. So it's still going to be a very risky Baron, especially against Fiddlesticks and Nico, like I said multiple times. So this is not even an option up to, I think, either a ace or a 38-minute Baron take.
38-minute Baron take. Let's see. It's quite a while away.
Because you kind of have to wait for, or not 38 rather, excuse me, 28-minute Baron take. They have to kind of push this side lane advantage to draw people away first, and the Camille is only going to get to that point at the 28-minute mark.
Meanwhile, EVOS once again pushing up the mid lane, still just making sure to clear those waves, walk away, put wards back down. I believe they have no vision on Baron and they're going to go and fix that problem right now. Taking out the control ward in the pit. Just a back and forth dance of vision. And once again, sweeper coming out. Looks like another ward is going to go down. Yep.
Honestly, DQ shouldn't even be playing this Baron bait because they don't have the potential to turn on EVOS Valkyrie. They don't have enough mobility to jump over the wall, to get in position to fight this one out.
Lee Sin going
This
in
is a mistake.
very deep, gets buster shotted out. Thank you very much, he says, but now a teleport into a bit of a sticky situation. Instant flash away because of the Caitlyn trap.
You could have seen at the red buff, the corner would have been perfect for Fiddlesticks to jump in. I think it's a miscommunication coming from EVOS Valkyrie. The short calling is just very off point because in that corner, it's the perfect spot to fight if you are Nico and Fiddlesticks.
That's right. I mean, Lee Sin flew in so deep, used that safeguard in, missed the Sonic Wave. Only thing that was saving grace was basically the Wild Growth and the Buster Shot from Tristana.
Right.
Basically saving him.
And because of the pink ward or the control ward in that brush, they would have had complete information. Now they're still looking to force the fight.
And now Heronay is actually caught out over the wall, forced to flash out, Pop Blossom being landed, but so much damage, pulled in Fear Beyond Death, and here comes the Crow Storm, kick straight into the Bear Pit, just gonna go down to that one. Stopwatch isn't gonna save, but a flash out, and Fiddlesticks actually stays alive.
Now look at the amount of ultimates expanded. They force so many things just for a mid lane pick. And those are big ticket ultimates. You can't really convert off of that fight. Oh, hold on.
Wow. But in bot side, Camille's pushing up. Gonna get this inhibitor. There is no reply. Recalls are being stopped all across the map.
Right, that was exactly my point. You spend too many big ticket ultimates to get a single pick. You can't convert off anything from that pick. And now you're gonna lose the complete bottom half of your map because Camille was alone just split pushing by herself.
That's right. And they're just gonna pick up a Mountain Dragon to reply for that inhibitor. Not worth at all, guys.
Yeah, the grand scheme of things you see of Crow Storm, multiple flashes, and a pocket watch, a stopwatch rather, being used.
Oh boy, the catch. Hextech ultimatum. Kha'Zix can't even do anything. Absolutely destroyed by Camille, who's just gonna walk up into Nico, forces the flash, flashes over, follows the snare at least to give Nico some space and the fear as well. Lee Sin might try to find a way in. Camille's back in again. Lee Sin, Sonic Wave lands. Will he take the resonating strike? Does not, but now a push up. Kha'Zix gone down means that EVOS Valkyrie are one man down.
Yeah, 4v5 is never the position you want to be, especially with this composition and very sloppy footwork coming in from EVOS Valkyrie. Just being in the wrong place in the wrong time and not knowing what the proper calls were has really cost them a lot this game.
That's right, speaking of wrong place, wrong time, Urgot is hanging around in the mid lane. I don't know if that's the best spot you want to be at. In another wave, I think the mid tower is probably going to fall. Actually, forget that because DQ just backs off instantly. Gonna recall and reset on that one. Caitlyn already catching up to Tristana. The goal lead has shrunk to about 100, so it's basically not even there. Baron, once again, the main objective is sweepers come out. Fiddlesticks trying to clear out some vision.
It's not too late for EVOS Valkyrie to jump back into the game. 5k is the deficit, but it doesn't hurt that much if the opponents are on the Baron buff and you jump on them. It's very conditional though, because you kind of have to pray that they stay in the Baron pit long enough that you get your combos off. I don't think DQ is the sort of team that is going to make that sort of erroneous mistake though, because we've seen them display a large amount of discipline this game.
That's right, I mean, but we did see just now Syndra actually getting caught out near the Baron pit. We did see a little bit of that combo with the Pop Blossom and the Crow Stomp to secure that kill. So if that happens a bunch of more times, I mean, EVOS definitely has a chance.
Yeah, they're not fully out of this. It's once again the idea of loose conditions, right? DQ have to submit to EVOS Valkyrie in committing these loose conditions before they even have a chance back in the game. Right now, they're still in a very commanding position. 4K rather is not too much of a distance to go through.
That's true. As they gain control once again over the Baron pit, Fiddlesticks was trying to recall on that bush, but sees the DQ team coming out. But Urgot actually does it, taking a lot of damage, dropping below half health, kicked, pushed around, but still alive, putting down that damage. Wild Growth actually being forced, but Kha'Zix jumping in as well and just destroyed. Look at that.
Right there is a classic mistake of team not calling it properly.
Hold that, because it's not even over. Crow Storm in for as much damage as possible. Tristana is still alive, jumps in, actually getting a kill, getting that reset, but not able to jump out because of the Hextech Ultimatum. Now Camille's just gonna clean up one more kill. Trap being placed for insurance. Caitlyn will claim that one, and Syndra will claim the last one for the ace.
Right there is an example of just bad team calling from EVOS Valkyrie. You could see that the Urgot was completely dead already, getting caught out, and then for some reason the Kha'Zix decides, I want to die too, I jump in. And in that 3v5 situation, there's no reason for them to re-engage. Why would you even use Pop Blossom and Fiddlesticks out to find a disadvantageous fight? I think EVOS Valkyrie starting off the loser bracket day in very poor form and might just find themselves eliminated here.
That's right. Camille on the top side, gonna break this inhibitor. There is no reply. Look at that, super minions on their nexus for EVOS Valkyrie. Just gonna hook shot away out of this one as all three inhibitors look to be going down.
The last one here in the mid lane, as you mentioned, all of them will be falling soon enough, and all credit to DQ for playing these fights out really well. I'm gonna have to retract my statement about Herenia. Syndra has been extremely on point today, and what will just appear to be a full day's threat. Most teams going up against her, I think we'll want to ban that away, just for concern of having to play against it.
That's right, 5-1 and 3, an absolutely dominating showing of that Syndra. Now minions are going to be flooding into EVOS's base. DQ actually just going to find a pick here.
Why do they keep checking this area? I don't understand it. There's no vision whatsoever. They just keep walking in blind and they expect to get caught out.
Yep, and here DQ Lee Sin actually might fall. Wild Growth keeping him alive for just a while more. Just walks back in. Now Lulu is forced to run away. A bit of a throw from DQ. Could have easily found a 5v5 and ended.
Yeah, exactly like you said. DQ was in a position to just walk in with the super minions, but instead they keep finding these weird jungle fights. I don't understand what's going on.
Interesting. Look at that, but whoa, just Fiddlesticks getting destroyed. Meanwhile, Camille in the backside is going to start hitting that. Kha'Zix might just be able to find the kill, but is unable to. Fear beyond death. And here are the loose conditions that you were talking about just now.
There's no Tristana! Where's the Tristana?
They're just going on, flipping in. Urgot, however, is on a rampage, running through. And actually, EVOS Valkyrie coming out on top of that fight. Triple kill for the Urgot, blocks away the Ace in the hole. Not even going to give a chance for that. Where's Tristana, you ask? Tristana is clearing out the super minions in their base.
Oh man, this is such a weird game because DQ, like you said, could have just walked it in with the super minions, but they take this random fight in the jungle, and the key there was Urgot getting the Fear Beyond Death to sort of space the fight out, and with everyone running away from each other, Kha'Zix could isolate targets and do adequate damage for the top laner Max to get a triple kill.
That's right, and because of that, EVOS Valkyrie stay in the game, get a bit of gold on their Urgot, who before this was suffering pretty much with a gold deficit. Now level 17, up in the top wave, clearing out some of those minions, gonna find more items, gonna become that scary late game Urgot.
Double Inferno has been picked up for DQ here. But the next big objective, right, the very juicy one for both teams is the Baron. I don't think either DQ nor EVOS Valkyrie should be approaching the objective. If you're DQ, you just walk into the base. You just try and take the last inhibitor and stall the game out before you can get super minions again. EVOS though, because the vision is constantly being contested in these jungle areas, you don't want to take the fight without vision.
Sure, definitely. And that's why we can see them constantly dancing around, getting that vision. Fiddlesticks, however, always walking alone means that if he does get caught up by Syndra or Camille,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'll be just such an easy game.
I have no idea why they keep walking into this jungle and the vision is just consistently being contested. Especially when Fiddle has no escape. Like, if the person wants to put down wards, it has to be either Tristana or Kha'Zix who can walk out safely if they make contact with the enemy. Fiddlestick's just gonna water away, there's nothing much he can do.
Exactly.
Oh, this is a loose condition right here.
Starting the Baron. So Baron's dropping down 5k.
Oh man.
It's Kha'Zix able to find a steal. A lot of damage being put onto the Nico. Crowstorm coming in.
They can steal this
but
all the
they
way.
peel off, yeah. But they peel off and flash straight in, putting down that damage with the Crowstorm. And Lulu's been caught out in the middle of the team. Pop Blossom being popped, but it is actually Nigo gets popped instead. Double kill over for Lee Sin. Camille's jumped onto the Tristana and Tristana falls. Urgot, the only one alive. Fear Beyond Death will connect, picks up the first kill, but Urgot is very strong late game. Is he gonna be able to find another one? No, he's unable to. Can they pick up that last kill? And Camille has, I believe, teleported into the lane to top side, taking that last turret. And looks like DQ is gonna claim this first win.
You know what the mistake in that fight was? The mistake was that they didn't look to secure the Baron. Instead, for some weird reason, they spent all their spells trying to close the distance and follow up on the Fiddlesticks, when the right play would have been take Baron, sacrifice the Fiddlesticks, and then just back off after that to use the Baron to defend. I think overall, very weird shot calling coming in from EVOS Valkyrie, and right now they've just been eliminated from FSL Vietnam.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, very weird shot calling, I guess. Could be a little bit of tilt. I mean, when they started to make mistakes, the mistakes just kept happening over and over again. Then they clawed their way back a bit, but then DQ decided, you know, we're not going to throw this game anymore. We need to end this.
That was definitely a mistake coming in terms of tilt and shot calling. I think whoever is captaining the squad has to kind of sit down with them and decide, how do we approach games from a losing angle from now on? Because every time we're behind, they're just making these very questionable decisions, going one after the other. It's like full solo queue style, right?
Yeah,
it's not what you want to see in this level of competition.
Exactly. I mean, we saw that one fight where after Urgot went down, Kha'Zix just jumped in for that free kill, instantly getting popped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but commiserations to EVOS Valkyries and congratulations to Drama Queens who will be proceeding forward and looking to play the next match as well. I believe we're waiting on the victor for the current set that's being played to decide who's going to be going up against Drama Queens and hopefully proceed forward with FSL Vietnam. But for now, guys, we'll be going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.